just got my knees this way. But I don't want to scare nobody. Thank you, miss. Alright, Sam, if you touch me, I'm a kid.
Go ahead. Is there such as a non-intimate conversation in this room?
I don't think so. You know, I've never been this close to you, not even in the tent.
I don't know, this is really about the size of the tent, if you just imagine it laying down.
Get this door! That's pushing. I think it's an escalator.
It must be something.
I'm taking this off.
You already missed that guy. It's very beautiful.
Hi, we are here today with Nick and Sam, two extraordinary young men who are walking from one end of the country to the next. These guys started out in southern Maine, and we were lucky enough to catch up with them today in Little Rock. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Morning.
It's afternoon.
Afternoon.
I have to ask a question. This action pack here.
It's on jetpack.
Is this heavy?
You know, it's about 40 pounds. Sam's is a little bit heavier. I haven't figured out why yet. And I mean, we're 3.5 months in now, so we're pretty much used to the weight. They do get a little heavier when we restock on food, which we would definitely have to do in Texas as things spread out.
They're not that bad as far as hiking backpacks go, but when you wear it all day long, every day, it gets a little old carrying it around.
Okay, I see. And what's in here?
Clothes, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, tent, some miscellaneous hiking stuff like knives and emergency blankets. I got my journal in there. We got some electronic stuff, water.
Okay. Now I have to ask what I'm sure a lot of people are wondering. What are you guys doing? What's going on? What is this about?
Well, I mean, this walk really spawned from a book I was handed from my guardian called The Walk. And the basic premise is this guy, he loses everything, and he decides to pick up a pack of his belongings and walk as far as he can, which was from Washington State to Key West, Florida. And the idea of walking from Maine to Southern California just really appealed to me. But I just kind of tucked it away. And when a couple months passed and I met up with Sam and we were catching up, I said, you know, if things would work out a certain way, this has been really on my heart. And so I decided that I might walk across the country. And he said, that's the most interesting thing I heard. And again, a couple months passed, he resigned from his job, and things in my life were steering me towards this direction. So we started to piece it together, come up with a mission, and started to fundraise for this. So on August 6th, we up and left.
I don't even know what weekend it is.
What is the name of your organization and what is your mission?
The name of our organization is Making Strides, Rediscovering the Dream. And our mission has, you know, it's constantly evolving, but when we left, we really wanted to bring a face to the American struggle, and we wanted to cover the complete spectrum of issues and that, you know, American citizens are struggling with and the conditions they're living with. And as we've been walking and volunteering in different cities, we carry with us a message of unity and selfless doing for others that is really centered around love and loving thy neighbor, and really, you know, showing the love of God through your actions and what you do. Because we really believe that if everyone helped one another, that as a whole we'd all be lifted up. But unfortunately that's not how we all operate, and a lot of times we get caught up with self, and we try to do things for ourselves without worrying about your friend who may be struggling here, or a stranger who may be struggling there. So we wanted to go out, and we have a vision of inspiring people to help other people, and we don't know how big it will get, and if not, then we're trying to be the change that we want to see in the world.
And Sam, when you guys say American struggles, could you give us some specifics of what you mean?
Well, one of the big things we've wanted to focus on is covering a wide array of the issues in this country. So we've tried to do as many different things, helping as many different groups as possible. And we've worked with animal shelters, we've worked with immigration, refugee services, done a lot of work with the homeless and food pantries and meal preparation. We've worked at children's hospital, alternative schools, homeless children's programs. Really just trying to shed light on the different faces of the American struggle, like the different ways that some of our, our peers and the other members of our society are, what they're having to deal with in their lives, and what that's like, and what everyone that follows us can do. Like, we want to show that you don't have to walk across the country to find these things to do. There's people who are in need in your area, wherever your area is, and sometimes it's not the orthodox solution. Like, a lot of people think of volunteering and helping out at homeless shelters, but there's just so many opportunities and so many different people out there right now that need help for different reasons, that if you just go out looking, you'll find somebody. And we're just trying to show how rewarding it can be and what the world can be if everyone just pitched in a little bit.
And you get a lot of unsung heroes within these communities. In Memphis, we volunteered at this organization called the Manor House. It was a ministry, and there was a gentleman there that, he's struggling through this ailment. He was homeless and 3 years ago, and he was addicted to drugs and prostituting, but he has cleaned himself up with strength by the grace of God. And he's gone back to that ministry, and despite what he's going through, he's helping people that are in the position that he was in 3 or 4 years ago. And that's just really cool, because he could have got his life together and just been like, I'm on my feet, now I'm just going to keep on going forward. But now he's on his feet and he's going forward, but looking back. And that's what people have to remember, that you have to move forward, but you got to bring, you got to look back and reach back to the people that, that have always been in your life, and the people that really need a hand.
Everybody's always warning us that the world is full of these crazy people, and you have to be careful, and you have to watch out, and things aren't the way they used to be. And we understand where that comes from. Like, we watch the news too, we see what everyone else sees, but we're trying to spread some good news and show that if you go out and look for it, it's not that hard to find a lot of good people doing a lot of big, meaningful things. It's not something of the past. It's something that still happens every day. There's still people who are out there acting selflessly and doing truly amazing, inspiring things, and they're not looking for even the attention that we're trying to raise. They're just doing it to be good people. And it's a good sign for society, and it's something I think people need to take some time and actually acknowledge. It's not as bad out there as you might think.
So Sam, what was it about Nick's proposal that made you eager to join him?
Well, when Nick brought the idea up to me, it was at a time where I was at a job and I was really not fulfilled. I was doing something I really didn't enjoy. I didn't find it rewarding. I wanted to do something that was more meaningful. I didn't want to wake up 10, 15 years down the road and realize, like, what have you done, and do you appreciate the things that you've accomplished so far? And I realized this was possibly my one chance to go and do something really large, and the idea just sounded like it had so much promise, and like we'd be able to do something that was truly organic and really help out people in a way that seemed meaningful and seemed genuine. And so I just jumped on it, and I'm really glad I did up to this point. We're halfway through, so no regrets thus far, which is pretty good.
Play ball. Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, I wonder if he's still boxing though. I don't know if he's still boxing. Yeah, amateur boxing. There's some good money in that though. You get the Golden Glove. I'm gonna sit over here with Sam.
Why don't you sit over here?
I mean, a lot of people have been asking us if we're life partners indirectly. offering us.
Oh.
Do you need 2 separate beds for this? Yes, we need 2 separate beds. So really, I just try to throw in the fact that you have a girlfriend waiting at home, just randomly, so they know that we're not part.
Yeah, I don't think it was as effective when all you were saying was I have a cat.
Yeah, but that's all that's important to me, is that you have a cat back home. And I think that's all people really care about.
I think so. You have the list down. Usually, Arkansas marks our 12th state. We've now been through Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, and now Arkansas.
That will mark the first half of our trip, and the second half will just have Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California.
You guys go to high school together?
Unfortunately.
We did. We went to junior high, high school, then college together.
Where'd you go to college?
We went to Colby College in Waterville, Maine.
Okay. What was your major, Sam?
We were both economics.
Okay. Both economics. You guys finished?
We did finish.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you actually understand what's going on in the economy right now.
You know,
Not thanks to going to college.
no, I have a better handle on it because since we've left, Sam has dropped some hot knowledge on me. By going from state to state and city to city, doing good for others, what we try to promote is unity and the selfless doing for others, and what that is really based on is love for thy neighbor. And we were told, and I think we have a pretty good handle on it, that neighbor doesn't only mean the person living next to you, but it's your fellow Americans. It's the person in the next state. It's the person, 10 states across the country, and it really doesn't matter where they live or where they dwell.
Yeah, we have this idea that if we can just inspire people to do right by their fellow man and to just act selflessly, and if everyone was able to do that, the world would be a much better place and things would be much more pleasant, and people would actually take care of one another, and we wouldn't need some of these, programs and some of the hardship that we currently have.
By going from state to state and city to city, doing good for others, what we try to promote is unity and the selfless doing for others, and what that is really based on is love for thy neighbor. And we were told, and I think we have a pretty good handle on it, that neighbor doesn't only mean the person living next to you, but it's your fellow Americans. It's the person in the next state. It's the person, 10 states across the country, and it really doesn't matter where they live or where they dwell.
Yeah, we have this idea that if we can just inspire people to do right by their fellow man and to just act selflessly, and if everyone was able to do that, the world would be a much better place and things would be much more pleasant, and people would actually take care of one another, and we wouldn't need some of these programs and some of the hardship that we currently have.
When was the past episode?
What's up?
What was the past episode?
I don't even know what weekend it is.
Have you ever felt like there's a big thing in your face?
Just because you think there is doesn't mean there isn't.
I think we're actually going crazy from all this walking.
I don't know. Do you think the thing was it?
I don't know. I'm starting to see things. Like people are following us or something.
Could you imagine if we actually had a camera crew for this? If it was something like this, they talked
I feel like the people on Jersey Shore.
Yeah, what a fool of a job that would be.
You know what? What if we could make $10 million a year just by being crazy and going wild?
Well, being on the show would be.
One thing we didn't even think of, it really never occurred to us, is it's really random that we're doing this together, and one of us happens to be African American and the other Caucasian, but the radio interview we had a couple days, Pastor Arthur Hunt pointed out how, that in itself brings a message of unity, and that's very important down here, and we never even thought about that. So that in itself, I guess, brings a message that we didn't intend, but it's a good message, and if that is reaching people in an inspiring way, then, I mean, that just goes to show that things speak to others in different ways, whether you intend to speak in that way or not.
So do you think that in your generation is more of a colorblind generation than the generations before?
We must be moving that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, considering it took us 12 states before somebody even brought it up to us that that was a meaningful part of the message.
Parking lot traffic.
Those hogs. We still haven't seen a razor back in the state.
That's probably a good thing.
That is probably a very good thing.
I see two up. That's nice.
I hope I lost you to the leg.
I'm sure you did.
You know, I hate being ashy. Here's the kid.
You're disgusting.
You just don't understand what it's like having black skin.
It's a joke.
When we're ashy, it shows.
Well,
When you're ashy, you don't notice.
can it be ashy? Is that like an adjective they use?
I mean, it just means dry skin. I guess ashy is like, it's visible. But just thank God. Amen.
20 years ago, I don't know.
I don't know. We have to be moving in the right direction, right? Like we went to the Civil Rights Museum in Memphis. We went to Central High the other day, and that stuff didn't happen that long ago.
It didn't.
That's always surprising when we like look at the dates for, like, you know, our parents were around for that, and they, you know, have vivid memories of those times. We weren't a thought for another 20 to 30 years, but
Well, I mean, my father was old enough to be in Central High. Like, it's kind of frightening.
during the
Yeah, during
Little Rock
desegregation,
Nine.
he could have been a freshman.